All right, players. What's happening? What's happening? How y'all doing? Good. How you doing? Yeah. Hey, what's up, player? How you doing, my man? Good to see you.
What you're doing here in the community is beautiful. We heard about it. We wanted to just ask you about this development.
You came on such a beautiful day.
Sure.
Perfect time. Perfect time.
Welcome back. We close things out by shining a spotlight on the Black renegades making a difference to the culture as we roll out our Revolutionary of the Week, including 2 real estate wizards who are taking the each one teach one approach to help Black communities close the wealth gap when it comes to home and property ownership. Meet the duo of Oasis.
It's really simple because you know who's going to be in which chair. You want
Whatever chair is better, I'll sit in this chair.
I'll make you number one. Yeah. I'll make you number one then.
So we're going on a press run. We're doing different interviews to tell everybody what Oasis is about. Revolt is one of the first Black-owned media companies to open their doors to us.
Yeah, it's so important for Oasis to get coverage, particularly with Black-owned outlets, because Oasis itself is such a revolutionary concept. It's really a disrupting concept for traditional banks, and we created a model that will allow the people to make the change that it desires to see. So without the information making it to the people's ears, it's not able to actually generate the traction that's necessary for it to raise the capital needed to make the changes that we want to see.
So we were very excited to visit the Revolt Studios. It was a dope studios, and we really had an amazing time telling our story. So while we were in Atlanta, there's no way we can go without tapping in with our big brother, Corey Jacobs. And Corey's all over the place. He's in Miami, LA. He just happened to be in Atlanta.
There you go. Let's go ATL. What's up? Everything love. It is my brother.
They call him Mr. Impact because of who he is, what he's done, what he's accomplished. We call him Mr. Oasis, or Captain Oasis. He's the guy that you want to pass the ball to, you know what I mean? Because you know he's going to score, he's going to find a way to make something happen and bring impact to whatever it is that he's a part of. Just going back, you know, Corey has 16 life sentences. So he was never supposed to come home, and he sat in jail for 16 years on that case. When you talk to him, he has the Buried Alive Project where he's going and finding people that have been buried under these life sentences for nonviolent crimes, and he's getting them out. Dozens of people he's freed that are never supposed to see the light of day again.
Yeah, when I was in prison, I used to look out the prison windows, you know what I mean, out the jail cell, and when I looked out, I didn't see the prison, I looked at the world. So I didn't care about 16 life sentences. I didn't care about, I seen my reality being out there in the world. I kept that on the forefront of my mind. I even did a painting. I did a painting to lock it in, where I had a painting, I'm standing at the window, I'm looking at society. I got the toilet here, I got there the books that I'm reading, and eventually I was able to manifest that no matter what nobody said. So they got to be able to see the vision before they can bring that shit into reality in their mind. Like,
and then, you know, you see him as sitting in the role of a strategic advisor to a billion-dollar company in Combs Global.
He's someone who we listen to, we take counsel from. Just an overall brilliant brother.
If it was the mafia, he'd be like the consigliere.
Atlanta is an incredible place to come, you know, and when you talk about real estate, you talk about politics, the ability to have, you know, like places in the airport, participation by Black-owned businesses. You know, I can't think of a better place to come, right, the city, to come in and have a footprint with Oasis, because they have proven the model. I'm on the Georgia Entertainment Caucus. I think we need to be getting involved.
Yeah.
You know, it was me being on the Entertainment Caucus where I was able to help say Shine get home. And I knew that's why it's important to be a part of the political process, right? And mingling in that world and bridging the gap between entertainment and the politics. Now that third triangle would be with these entrepreneurs, and you bring, now that gap need to be bridged into that world. The vehicle, y'all created the vehicle. So say now the vehicle's created, now we gotta go get the money. We have to like cut across the grass. We can't go around. We, you know, for me, I got 17. Like I'm going, like you see me, so you see me, like I'm cutting across the grass. Like everything that I'm doing is impact driven. I got all the energy in the world to leave this legacy, to turn my bad decisions into great accomplishments.
One of my uncles told me when I was younger that a lot of the most powerful minds we had got caught up in that crack era and then got locked behind bars. And so a lot of our great minds is sitting behind these bars, and we may never see them again or may never benefit from the knowledge that they have.
In the midst of trying to find myself, I was able to get through my adversity and get to the other side. And so when I got to the other side, I was like, you know, there's things about me that I gotta change. And so I asked Allah to allow me to fill my mind and spirit. I happened to be sitting in jail, you know what I mean, at the time that my brother was sitting in jail, but just on different circumstances, obviously lesser time. And I've made some adjustments to my brain, and I asked for some different favors. And I'll show you something here. I'll just say right there on this. Tell you how strong the mind is. If you really commit to it, things can happen different ways. So I said to myself,
Damn, in your cell.
yeah, wow, pencil and paper.
Damn.
And I was like,
How many years ago?
a lot, that was 22 years.
Bro, you see that?
And I was like, if you let me go this time,
Yo.
this is what I'm gonna do with my life.
Damn.
Wow.
Figure this out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro.
And I just drew it, and I stayed to the ideal of if I can do this and for my family and it not be for me, and give my children something that they can take and move on. You know what I mean? And I just locked into the ideal of it, and I just didn't let up off it. You know what I'm saying? Like I put it in the chokehold. You know what I mean? I put the La Mate Leon on it and just wouldn't let it go. Like until this is done, I'm not letting this go.
V, he built really like a magnificent compound, one for his family. You know, it's a huge structure. You can't really miss it.
I got a couple programs where I do the actual CADs, but because I'm not a licensed architect, once I'm finished with them, I take my renderings and then I go get my architects and I let them give me actual renderings with stamps. You know what I mean? And then I take them down to the city.
What is the permit process like in LA? I know you're looking like 6 to 8 months. Like, how is it out here? Is
It varies with the city of Atlanta.
Okay.
So to permit to build this only took me 8 months. But the permit to build the new building that I want to build next door here, because of pandemic, it's damn near taking me 5 years.
Wow.
It's a variance that I'm trying to do that they don't necessarily want me to do. And so I had to appeal it different times. The job of the person who's in that department changed, the person changed maybe 3-4 times. So every time that changes, I have to go resubmit to that person who's in that position now. This process.
Politics.
The key is to get so much visibility in the work that's being done. And it's go crazy when they start looking at all the stuff that we're doing across the board, but they just can't tell us no. And if they wanted to, it wouldn't be advantageous to say no. Like, you know, just in general, like, there's a level of, we haven't reached it to a point where we can get it out here, anywhere, where we're too deep not to get to, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever we want, you know what I'm saying?
My counterparts, you see these properties right here, none of this was here when I got here.
Really?
Wow. They built this around me.
So
None of this was
they see what you was
They
doing.
see what I was doing.
Yeah.
And then they started building. What they did is they just accept the fines.
I was about to say that.
They like kept building it. Like what the things that I would get fined for, that probably would cost me about 90 bands. I don't want to give away a free 90 bands. But they don't care. You know what I mean? That 100, 200 that they just add that to their building costs.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? And just take the fine and wait for the thing to just happen.
Not only was it a super fly crib, he also has the business right on the ground. So we got a gym, you know, they had a juice bar.
I gotta get you another one. That's what's up.
They had a whole facility right next door where you can go and train. And that's kind of his thing. You know, he's a mixed martial artist. He's into health, fitness, and wellness. He got a security company. So V and I, we like align on a lot of different things. And we've always had mutual respect and just, you know, and recognizing one another whenever we're in the same environment. But now to see what he's doing on a business level. It's just more hats off to him and what it is that he was bringing to the table.
Atlanta's special. A lot of black professionals moved and took over Atlanta. It's like a black Hollywood. Not only that, it's like a black Wall Street. It's a very booming city. Great opportunity there. Atlanta is just the place to be. There's no way we could be in the city without at least reaching out to the king of the South, TIP. I mean, this is a brother who tells you through his music, he came from the streets, and now here he is building multi-million-dollar developments. What you're doing here in the community is beautiful. We heard about it. We wanted to just ask you about this development. But brother was showing us it before it was here. It was a grocery store.
Yeah.
It was what made you even see it and see potential in it as far? Was it the neighborhood? Was it just?
It's the neighborhood that I grew up in. You know, my elementary school is a couple lights up here. My high school is 3/4 of a mile away. My grandmother's house is probably a 1/4 mile away. I had always had my eyes on this piece of property. I opened a club down the street years ago, Club Crucial. It's still, you know, in operation. I'm just not a part of it anymore. My uncle still do it. My uncle and I didn't see eye to eye on, you know, how to run that club or the business of that club. So I started looking for other parcels and places where I could compete with him. I wanted to come in like a thief in the night. This was one of the parcels that I thought would be prime. The existing structure at the time was perfect to like gut it out and have a huge club and, you know, either that or a skating rink or something like that, bowling alley. And then I had an opportunity to sit on the board, the transition team for Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms. Killer Mike and myself. And I then saw that there was a huge initiative on behalf of the city for affordable housing. And I then began to learn the statistics of how many people, or the percentage of people who work in Atlanta that can't afford to still live in Atlanta. You know what I mean? I've learned about, you know, so many of the natives here, the people who made this community what it is for generations, being displaced because, you know, they can't afford to pay their property taxes because the property value rising up due to gentrification and so on and so forth. And also I was introduced to people, you know, sitting on that board, you know, that allowed me access to a different level of opportunity. So I just, you know, started thinking differently. It allowed me to go from a club kind of entertainment space to beginning to think of how I could do something that would really help the need in this community. We've been fortunate enough, man, to offer 143 units with close to 10,000 square feet of retail space, all while maintaining a level of affordability. As a child, I was a Section 8 recipient. You didn't really care as much. You know what I'm saying? You seen it as somebody else's stuff, and you know, and that's another thing about making, you know, our affordable properties aspirational. We feel like if you give people something nicer, they'll take more pride in the upkeep of it. You know what I'm saying? If something already look like it's ran down, then why you gotta take care of it? You know, so I think that's kind of, we want to offer people more amenities, just a nicer environment for themselves to live in, a better thinking space for them to have, you know, peace of mind. And also just train or condition us to take care of our stuff so when you finally do become a homeowner, you know what I'm saying, you already have the mindset, you did? Yeah, so we love for this to be a supermarket, to have a tenant as a supermarket, also with a drugstore, and a small satellite banking station, you know, for people to do their business.
Being a person that comes from what you call impoverished area, you always look up to the people that also came from that area that made it out. For him to do developments in the area that he grew up in, it's going to provide so much more hope because he's not just a hip hop legend now. He's a businessman, he's a developer, and he's going to have people that grow up in the buildings that he built that are also aspiring to be like him. And so it's just going to be that much more of a reminder, like, yo, this is T.I.'s building that we live in. And people are going to see now that these other alternate routes are not only possible or they're happening.
And over this way, we own these 2 houses. These 2 houses right here. That third house, what I was telling you, you know, with the proper access to capital, we could acquire that house as well. And the land bank has that white building right there. And they were interested in partnering with us. So, you know what I'm saying? Again,
That's a lot of land.
you see what I'm saying? We could expand the footprint and do a lot of stuff right here on this corner. What's up now? What's happening? Ain't nothing to it. But yeah, so this is, you know, if y'all have any interest, we could develop this and, you know, whether it's affordable townhouses, whether it's condos, whether it's some more affordable apartment units, we could do all that right here.
I would encourage more artists to do that. Go back to the areas that you're familiar with and that you grew up in. Find ways to develop and build and buy and own right in those areas. Those are the areas that we, you know, claiming to be from. So let's go back and own it. Let's go back and provide value to the place that gave us the value and the identity of who we are.
Tip has some amazing ideas, and we're gonna do what we can to see how we can help not only him, but Atlanta as a whole, and bring value to the city. So man, after a great day of touring and seeing the city, we ended the day at the one and only Trap City Cafe. The vibe was dope. The food was amazing. Man, shout out to the chefs at Trap City Cafe. If you've never been, you gotta go. We got the chance to sit with Tip, talk about his ideas and plans for the future. We want to be involved in Atlanta as a whole. We plan definitely to come back and do some damage.